Coming up next on Columbus Connections, we have some great community events coming up in February. Okay, I know I always say that, but these are some ones you really want to go to, so stay tuned. Welcome to Columbus Connections. I am your host, David Britt, and we are in a great time of year, not just because of Black History Month, not just because you're getting your taxes back, but because February is a time when you have a lot of great things going on in the community, ways for you to get connected and help give back. And they're not just things that you have to just put in a whole bunch of elbow grease into, although that's great when you do that as well, but there are events that you can really enjoy and just have fun being a part of. So we're going to talk about two such events. The first one, my guest here is no stranger to the show. It is Liz Dillard, who is the Executive Director of the Homeless Resource Network. Welcome back.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's nice to be here.
How is your year getting started off?
I can't believe it's already February. How did
Right.
that happen?
Well, to me, January, it was like 3 or 4 months to me.
Oh, really?
It felt like January the 52nd. But I'm glad we're already in February. And I'm glad that you guys have an event coming up.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, tell us about the Homeless Resource Network and some of the things that you all do.
So we work with people who are experiencing homelessness to make sure that they get connected with the information, the resources, the services that they need so they can end their homelessness. We work with many partners in the community to make sure that that happens. We help people with local transportation through Metro. We help people with identification. We help people have an address so they can get their mail, a place to store their belongings, and then we help people get back into housing. Right. And then connect them with everything else.
Yeah. So when people hear that, give them the tools they need to end their homelessness, you don't really often realize what that entails. The getting the ID and helping with transportation and a place to stay, a place to store their belongings, things like that. Somebody needs to do that, and you guys are the ones that do.
Yeah, and we don't do it alone. We're having those partnerships, making sure that people have a shelter to stay at, that they know the options in the community, they know where they can look for employment, and just making sure that the information is available is a big piece of what we do.
Awesome. And on February the 17th, tell me what you guys have coming up.
Well, we're so excited. We have a film, and it's so tremendous. It will be showed at the library auditorium, the public library on Macon Road, in the auditorium. So it's a full-length, an hour-long movie, and it's about people in our community sharing their story and their experience of homelessness. And they are very brave, wonderful people to share such personal experience with the community. And it's tremendous. This is just I think many people would be surprised that these people had the experience of homelessness. They might have passed them one day and never known that they experienced homelessness. And just from the other side, when they were experiencing homelessness, what all they went through, what were the challenges, what are things that made a difference. And it's in Columbus. It's folks right here telling their story. So I encourage everyone to come out and see it. It's a wonderful film.
So it's going to be people that from the community that we may have seen or
Absolutely.
know. Or
Yeah.
Wow. And that's going to be February the 17th, Sunday. It is, the film name is Project Home. As I'm trying to read this backwards.
Shifting Faces.
Shifting Faces.
Yes, you got it.
Now you had a small part of the movie. Tell me what it was like creating the movie.
It was very intimidating to me. The Click and Pledge Foundation, the storytellers created the film, so they orchestrated it, put it all together, and just not knowing what that would be like. I have a bigger part than I thought I would, so it's okay. And I think it's important that some of the information gets shared.
Yeah.
It was really interesting because, we asked a lot of people to be part of the story. Some people were willing, some people, of course, were not, and that's totally acceptable. But the people who shared their lives, they're all amazing people, but that they shared their lives in such an open way is just tremendous, and it is. To me, of course, I'm very biased. It's a very moving film, but it was a neat experience. It was kind of a strange experience, not used to, other than being here, being on
Right.
TV.
Yeah, we have to be prepared for it.
Yeah,
We have to be
and, but it turned out really well, and I think it really presents homelessness to someone who might not ever had exposure, might make them think about the whole experience just a little bit differently.
Gotcha. And again, that's Sunday, February the 17th, 3 p.m., the auditorium of the Columbus Public Library. What do you want people to walk away with after they see this film?
Maybe a deeper understanding that that homelessness can happen to anyone, that homelessness is a traumatic event, but that it is a temporary event, that homelessness is not forever, and that we have people experiencing homelessness right here in Columbus. We have a beautiful, caring community, but we have people experiencing homelessness here.
Gotcha. Project Home, Shifting Faces, Sunday, February 17th, 3 p.m. at the Columbus Public Library. What else? Do you all have any other events coming up?
Yes, we sure do. We have our fundraiser, a wine tasting mingle. That is Friday, March 15th at the Loft. It's wonderful food, wonderful music, great wines, and a silent auction, and it's to benefit the Homeless Resource Network. And tickets can be bought on the homelessresourcenetwork.org website.
Gotcha. And where's the phone number in case anybody needs to contact
It's
you all?
706-571-3399.
All right. Don't go anywhere. There is more on the way right here on Columbus Connections.
Bicycles are fun at any age. Just remember the rules of the road when you're out enjoying a bike ride. And motorists, when you're sharing the road with cyclists, use caution and give at least 3 feet when passing. Bicycles are safe, fun, and sensible. When you ride, be visible, be predictable, and be alert. You'll have a safe ride and a great time. Let's get there together, Georgia. A message from the Governor's Office of Highway Safety and Georgia Bikes.
Welcome back to Columbus Connections. Now, I want you to remember the second week in February, February 16th and 17th. There are some great events going on in this community which you will definitely enjoy. You just heard about the movie that's going on the 17th at the library. And also, Saturday the 16th, make sure you check out Dodging the Dangers. Now, you may wonder what that is. That's what we're here to talk about. I have with me Dr. Dolores Tarver. She is coming back to the show. Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do in the city.
Okay, I am a licensed psychologist, and so I work at Columbus Psychological Associates, and then I'm also a member of the Physical and Mental Health Committee of the Columbus Metropolitan Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, who is sponsoring this event we'll be talking about today.
Gotcha. Now, Dodging the Dangers, what's that?
Well, your audience is probably very aware, as you are, that there are a lot of challenges that girls and women face.
Yes.
There have been a lot of docu-series out recently, the Me Too movement. There have been some things that have brought things to light, but specifically there are several areas that we'll be talking about. One is the number of missing girls and women that we are experiencing, not just in our area, but all around the country. I think a last post that I saw was putting it around 65,000 girls and women are missing across the United States.
Wow.
Now there's a lot of different reasons that these girls and women could be missing, but one of the things that comes up is they often don't get the media coverage to help find them, and so sometimes their cases go unsolved. They are thought to be runaways, or they're thought to be living with someone else and not caring to reach out to their parents, and so they get forgotten. And one of the purposes of our event is to remind people, don't forget the girls and women that are missing, because we are the eyes that the police can't always be. We may see these girls and women somewhere, but we also want to highlight where they could be. One of them is they could have ended up in the sex trafficking industry.
Gotcha.
And so unfortunately, that industry has taken over. And there are a lot of girls and women who are lured into that environment unknowingly on social media or on some chat room, thinking they're talking to a peer when they're really talking to one of these predators, who then lure them to a place, and then they're taken away and we don't see or hear from them again, and then they're subjected to a life of domestic violence, subjected to a life of sex trafficking, and you can imagine all of the things that that does to someone going through that trauma. We also want to highlight domestic violence and intimate partner violence. So we have people who are in relationships that are simply just toxic and unhealthy. And
No, I never heard that term, intimate partner violence.
Okay, so there's a lot of relationships where this is somebody who's close to me, this is an intimate partner, somebody that I'm connected to who's violent with me. May not necessarily be my husband, may not necessarily be my wife, but this is somebody that I am close to who is also perpetrating violence against me. So we're going to raise some awareness about that. And if that wasn't enough, then we also have the health issues that women are at risk for: heart disease, breast cancer, cervical cancer,
Right.
for Black women, fibroid tumors, sickle cell, those kind of things. So this event is one, preventative, so let's provide some education, let's let you all know what dangers are out there, but then we're also going to talk about, okay, what can we do to address some of these things? What are some healthy resources?
Gotcha.
What can we do? So we have a awesome group of facilitators who are going to talk about vaginal health, physical health. We'll have mental health screenings. You can get your weight and your glucose. You can know if your risk factors are high. We have police officer that will be there, Lieutenant Dent Fitzpatrick, who is going to address.
Okay. Oh,
the-
y'all gonna have to.
Oh, we got
She
the
tells it
lineup.
like it is. She doesn't bite her tongue.
Yes, we
Yeah.
have a good
Yeah.
lineup. We have Micah's Promise is going to be there. So we have a lot of groups. And then on top of that, we have some positive resources in the community. Blessings 365 that girls can get involved with. Let's Grow STEAM that girls can get involved with. Boys and Girls Club. So we also have some, hey, so instead of you doing just what not to do, we're also going to talk to you about here's what you can do to help you along your journey.
So this is an event for women of all ages.
It is.
All ages, all races, all creeds, just everybody. If you're a woman, come check it out.
It is specifically for girls 6th through 12th grade because,
Okay.
of course, we are going to be addressing some issues that may not be appropriate for our younger girls.
Gotcha.
And then women 18 and older. So it is
Gotcha,
for
okay.
women and girls 6th grade on up.
Yeah, let's
Yeah, so please don't bring your kindergartner to this program because it might not be appropriate for them. Because we are going to be, as you talked about, Lieutenant Dent Fitzpatrick, she's going to be talking about some things that may not be appropriate, as well as we're going to be talking about sex trafficking. So Dr. Brett Murphy Dawson is also going to be talking about
Okay.
that. So that is something that is age appropriate for those groups I just mentioned.
Got you. What are some of the issues you see as a psychologist related to that
Yes.
are really prevalent in our community?
So unfortunately, one of the things that really came out following a recent documentary about an entertainer in the area is this issue of victim shaming. So we begin to have dialogue about, okay, well, these are grown women. Why would they put themselves in these
Gotcha.
situations? Why do you let yourself, if you know that somebody has this history, why would you put yourself in that situation? I blame you. Or some of our girls are fast. So they shouldn't be involved with
asking
people.
for it,
Absolutely, they're
or-
asking for it. And I tell people those kind of conversations are dangerous. And don't get me wrong, there's not at all a case that some women do not say things that aren't true. Just like there are cases where men say things that aren't true. But by and large, most people who come forward with these kind of descriptions of events that occurred, and especially as you can see the similarities between events that occurred, given a different perpetrator, they're not making these things up.
Gotcha.
And what I try to do is raise awareness about how predators think. We're not predators, so we don't think about it. We think, well, why would you go in that situation? But these young ladies are groomed. If I come to you and I am everything you need me to be, so if you're missing a father figure in your life, if you're missing someone who just allows you to be a kid and not have responsibility, if you are financially struggling, maybe you are fending for yourself and your siblings, you don't have food, I'm providing that for you, you're at home by yourself, there's not a lot of supervision, I can easily come in, be whatever you need me to be, and then get you to the point where I isolate you from all the other people around you, so there is just me. Then I'm controlling you. Your logic and your reasoning are different because now they're my logic and my reasoning. And so I tell people, if you don't think like a predator, you don't understand how
Gotcha.
kids could be lured by a predator, or even adult women could be lured by a predator, because you're thinking, well, if you got good rational skills, why would you put yourself in that situation? Because now I've changed how you think about things. So now you think I'm the only person that really loves you. I'm the only person that cares about you. And if you leave me, you won't have anything. And so that's one of the things that I really talk to people about. Try to understand what people are going through and why they might not leave a situation.
Gotcha.
You know, we get upset, like, why you keep going back to her? Why you keep going back to him? They keep abusing you. Because this person tells me they love me. They
Right.
beat me down, and then they build me up. So now I feel an alignment to them. I don't want them to get in trouble. I don't want them to go to jail. I know that may affect me being able to take care of myself. My family has already disowned me because they told me if I go back to you one more time, they weren't going to help me anymore. So now I'm isolated. So that's why I stay in the situation. Or maybe I have kids, or maybe you control all the money and I can't leave because financially, how am I going to be able to support myself and these kids? You may control the keys. I may not even have access to keys when you're not home. So I literally cannot go anywhere because you have closed off all my access. So I do a good bit of that. Then I try to talk to people about trauma. Trauma is lifelong. When you have been through a serious event, it is going to affect you. It is going to affect how you think. It is going to affect how you see yourself. It is going to affect your ability to be able to accomplish things in life. And so we want to be able to allow people to start that healing process and retrain them so they learn how to have healthy relationships and how they realize they don't have to be controlled in order for them to be able to be healthy, happy, and successful.
Right. And again, February 16th, that's
Yes.
a Saturday. Where will it be located?
It is going to be at South Girard School, and that's in Phoenix City. And that school is huge, which is why we use that venue. People are like, why are you doing the Columbus event in Phoenix City? We're actually going across the bridge. Just come on across the bridge. But yeah, at South Girard School, it starts at 10, it ends at 3. We provide lunch. There are going to be a lot of interactive workshops. There are going to be a lot of great presenters there. So we definitely want your viewers to come out and support the event.
Awesome. You talked about a physical health screening as far as glucose
Yes,
and
weight, blood pressure.
But you also said a mental health screening.
Mental health screening.
Tell me about that.
Okay. So a lot of times people think, well, how can you be screened for mental health? The same way you can be screened for physical health. Let's start with an interview. Let's talk about some things. Then we also have some inventories we're going to give people to see if they have anxiety, to see if they have any symptoms of depression, to see if they are isolating themselves, to see if they have some difficulty with substance use, to see, because a lot of people aren't aware because they don't understand what mental health means. What is a mental illness? I know I'm not hearing or seeing things, so I feel like, hey, I'm pretty decent, or well, I talk to myself, but everybody does it.
Yeah, it's a thing, and this it gets thrown around a lot.
Yes.
So you don't have a real idea of how wide the
Yes,
spectrum is.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So ideally, if everybody gets a little depressed from time to time or a little sad, most people experience a lot of anxiety from time to time because anxiety is protective. It stops us from doing stuff that we shouldn't be doing.
Right.
But it also makes us aware of our surroundings. So it's not that we don't want you to have anxiety or we're saying you can't be sad. It is if it's impairing your function in a variety of areas. Is it impacting me socially so I'm not interacting with people? Is it affecting me at work so I'm unable to get things done at work that I need to get done? Is it impacting me at school? So that's when we know it's beyond that transient mild level to something that needs more immediate attention. And we'll have some licensed mental health providers there. So if a person does need some additional services after that screening, we're like, hey, your numbers are kind of high, you're reporting a lot of distress, there's a lot of stress going on in your life right now, may be good for you to see somebody. We have some resources for them to be able to see somebody following that.
Gotcha. Saturday, February 16th.
Yes.
Tell me again the times.
10 a.m. to 3 p.m., South Girard School.
10 a.m. to 3 p.m., South Girard School. Again,
Yes.
that second week of February, 2 great events. And they kind of tie in together because a lot of these things, the sex trafficking,
Absolutely.
and that can lead
Yes.
into homelessness and
Absolutely.
vice versa.
So could domestic violence.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to escape a situation, then you need some help. You easily could end up being homeless. And so they do tie into each other. And part of our job at this program is to let people know what their resources are in the community. Most people don't know what they would do if they were homeless.
Right.
Most people don't know what they would do if, God forbid, something happened. We see right now what's going on in the federal government. People didn't get paid for a month. So a lot of us are only a paycheck away from homelessness anyway. So if I lost my house, or if there was a traumatic event, my house burned down, or there was a hurricane or something, what would I do? How would I get services? Where would I go? What would I do if I needed food? So that's part of these dangers too that we need to dodge. Understanding what are my resources in my community so I don't feel like I'm trapped. If someone tells me I don't have any resources, I know that I do.
Right.
And then I'm much more likely to be able to access them.
Right. So even if you're not experiencing those harsher things, if not
Absolutely.
just for the health screen, just for the physical and mental health screen. If
Absolutely.
it's been a while since you've been to a doctor, or you know that
Yes.
your mom or
Yes.
your sister hasn't gone,
Absolutely.
this is where she needs to go.
Absolutely. And a lot of times people don't go to the doctor unless they are forced to go to the doctor.
So you can just Saturday, you can be like, come on, get in the car, we're going to go have some fun,
Absolutely.
go downtown, get something to
Absolutely.
eat, and then just pull up all the way
Pull up
outside
and
of
be like,
South
"What
Carolina
is-"
School. Just come on in. You're going to have some fun.
In.
Yeah.
And we'll also have Daryl Wright from Right Way Fitness is going to be doing
Mm-hmm.
self-defense training, so ladies will also learn how to protect themselves physically if they get in a situation
Yeah.
where someone is trying to abduct them. So they really get kind of comprehensive.
Yeah.
this is what
This is like a lot of
It is.
training you're
Yes,
gonna
like,
get.
yeah, absolutely. A mental and physical health fair. So
Yeah,
we are really
yeah.
trying to cover as much as we can, because a lot of times girls and women don't get information until there's a problem. Like
Mm-hmm.
most girls don't know about good vaginal health. They just know like their parents are telling them don't have sex.
Right.
Okay, well, there's more to vaginal health than just sex. Like, how
Mm-hmm.
do I take care of myself? Like, when do I know if something's wrong? What am I using that may be causing me some problems? So a lot of times, because that's missing, that again puts girls at more risk. So we want to provide the education where even if mama is uncomfortable talking about it, or she is talking about it and you're just not listening, then you do have an additional place where you can get some information from.
Where can people go if they want to get some more information about
If they want to get some more information, they can contact me directly at Columbus Psychological Associates. My phone number is 706-653-6841. The extension is 315. Our event is also on the webpage of Columbus Metropolitan Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We're on Instagram and Facebook. You can access information about that event, the event that way as well.
All right, and one more time, tell us the time, place, and date of the event.
Dodging the Dangers. It is at South Girard School, Saturday, February the 16th. I know that's Valentine's Day weekend, but you can still come and do this event and see your boo thing later. And it is from 10 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m.
There you have it. We will see. Well, I won't be there, but I hope that you will definitely be there. I'm definitely going to encourage my wife and daughter and all the women in my family to make sure they go. Make sure you check it out. Thanks for watching. This is Columbus Connections.